Welcome to the Harvest Podcast, where capital markets, growth, and disruption collide. Today, we bring you more revelatory insights from emerging growth companies.
Hi, welcome to another revelatory show here with me, Carmel Fisher. Excited to dive a little deeper into the growth story of SafeSpace Global Corporation. They have the ticker on the OTCID, SSGC. With me today, I'm excited to welcome Dustin Hillis, President and CSO of SafeSpace Global. Welcome, Dustin.
Hello, thanks for having me.
We are so excited about the SafeSpace story. I mean, I've been, reading up about you guys, researching it, but from your perspective, you obviously have the broader vision and mission. Will you share that with us, please?
Yeah, the mission's the most important thing. And if you were to meet any of our individual team members, our partners, the common thread is the mission, and it is to help save lives. Our vision is that we are the global leader in multimodal AI technology. And we believe that AI technology is the most powerful tool that has ever been created, and that we are focused on making that tool trained to help save lives. And down the road, we believe that that mission and that vision, where when AI continues to grow and to learn and to think, a small group of people that trained it to value saving lives could play a significant role into our future.
Absolutely. And deep diving, I noticed that SafeSpace Global achieved something quite remarkable in 2025, and that's transforming from healthcare integrated technologies into a, as you mentioned, multi-vertical AI safety platform. Now, particularly interesting for me was the Kansas City transit deployment ahead of the FIFA World Cup this year, 2026, which is particularly high profile. What made KCATA choose SafeSpace over established security providers? And how do you really see this deployment opening doors in the transportation vertical?
Oh, it's significant. KCATA is a test pilot really for the TSA. So we've been talking with the TSA, KCATA is part of. And with the World Cup coming up, it's on a global scale. So many eyes are on how they handle the safety. And the world just keeps getting to be more and more scary with threats that are out there, from terrorism to domestic violence. And I personally went to Kansas City and toured the buses there at Kansas City. And I was looking at the problems that they were facing and how our solution matches up with that. Being in healthcare and helping save lives in healthcare for many years, since 2016, we knew that our solution with facial recognition, object detection, notification could provide an excellent and sophisticated solution for what KCATA needed to help protect people, save lives for the World Cup. So our facial recognition's detecting the terrorist watch list, the do not ride list, weapons detection, and beyond. So we're very excited about the test pilot with the first 7 buses that are currently getting installed. And it will expand rapidly upon a successful test pilot to several hundred buses just within KCATA. And then beyond that, you have all the major cities looking at that to have us expand with them as well after the successful test pilot with KCATA.
The partnership, Dustin, with 911 Inform creates what you're calling a unified emergency ecosystem for schools. Now, with 130,000 plus schools in America and constant pressure on administrators to enhance safety for obvious reasons, this feels like a potential inflection point. Can you quantify the market opportunity and explain how this partnership accelerates your path to the 2026 uplifting?
Absolutely. We've had conversations with senators from Alabama, Tennessee, and beyond, where we're looking at statewide installations to solve this problem. Truly, I think school shootings in the United States of America is one of the biggest problems that we face as a nation. So the problem, it does, and what's great about talking on Capitol Hill with politicians is this is a bipartisan problem that everybody agrees on. So whether you're Democrat or Republican, school shootings and protecting our kids is something that everybody can agree we need to solve that problem. So the partnership with 911 Inform truly creates a comprehensive solution when paired with SafeSpace's AI that's unique. And I know here in a minute, we'll talk about some of our other partnerships. And when you pair all 3 of those partnerships together, it's a comprehensive solution that nobody else has. 911 Inform has been in the market for a significant amount of time with this new technology. They have over 13,000 buildings that are being protected currently with their back-end solution. So what it does is when there's an emergency, it calls 911, it locks the school down, and it routes the police officer to the emergency. Well, with SafeSpace's AI, we can detect a weapon. We can have facial recognition to hit a list. We can have license plate readers tell you that this vehicle is one that you don't want to be on your premises. And then that triggers a human in the loop, pushes a button, locks everything down, calls the police. And the back-end integration, the training is something that 911 Inform brings to SafeSpace that is a game changer. And so we're very excited about that partnership, very excited to work with their existing clients and to bring 911 Inform to all the future clients that SafeSpace has as we're looking to do statewide rollouts with this technology.
So definitely noticing and hearing you mention the expansion, including senior living healthcare into a variety of more verticals. Please expand on that and tell us how this diversification benefits the company and shareholders.
Yeah, it was out of necessity. So being in senior living, we wanted to take the most powerful technology that's ever been created, AI, and start with the most vulnerable populations. So Scott Boroff, our CEO, back in 2016, identified senior living was a huge need to take facial recognition, non-wearable technology to help with things like elopement detection, et cetera. But then beyond that, we actually had a meeting where our executive team was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and we drove past the Antioch exit the day of the Antioch school shooting. All of our school phones started beeping. And I personally have a 14-year-old daughter who was at a different school right down the street from that shooting. And it was a very sobering and sad event. And we already were looking to expand and have our name change from Healthcare Integrated Technologies. And our stock ticker used to be HITC. And we were looking to change our name to SafeSpace Global Corporation and change the stock ticker to SSGC. But once we were there and experienced this alert and a school shooting right down the street from where our meeting was, it just motivated us to raise more money and to deploy that money into other verticals to help save lives. Also, shortly thereafter was the stabbing on the bus where the Ukrainian lady was stabbed by the convicted criminal and died. And so we realized, hey, transportation is vulnerable, schools, and then also through relationships, just understanding that the correctional facilities, I mean, talk about the most dangerous place you could be. I mean, that's it. So protecting not only the inmates, but the guards as well. We protect everybody, the visitors, the guards, and the inmate correctional facilities where it's very dangerous and there are people with bad intentions there. So that is how we built out our verticals, was on the most vulnerable populations. So to summarize, you have healthcare. So we expanded even beyond senior living to all of healthcare. Number two, schools. So kindergarten through 12th grade and beyond. We have the ability to help colleges as well. Then you have transportation, and we already mentioned KCATA, and then correctional facilities. And that's both prisons and jails. We have use cases on keep separates, how to keep groups apart, individuals apart, cell checks, a very specific technology built, custom designed for the correctional institutions to help save lives. And I know our investors appreciate that. It's been a lot of work over the last year. In essence, it's launching 4 different companies. If you really think about it, most of our competitors only have one vertical with a few use cases. We have 3 to 4 use cases per all 4 verticals. So the valuation around that, really from an investor perspective, each one of those verticals should have its own valuation. And we've had people quote very significant numbers of what they think just the school market should be, or just the transportation market should be. And so we hope people recognize that and appreciate the effort in saving the most vulnerable populations.
Oh, 100%. Again, definitely timely and needed right about now. So you've secured exclusive US rights to base molecular resonance technologies, BMRT, molecular level weapons detection technology for schools and correctional facilities. Well, that is a huge competitive moat. How does molecular detection change the game compared to traditional metal detectors or AI visual systems? And what does exclusive really mean for SafeSpace's valuation?
Sure. An article just was published that people can go and read on BMRT's website, bmrt.io, was from a brigadier general, former astronaut. He was the 10th person to walk on the moon, the youngest person to ever walk on the moon. I believe it was Apollo 16. And he said, as somebody who's walked on the moon, I've seen game-changing technology. And he saw a live test at a government facility with a government approved validation of this technology. And he said, this is something that will change the way that our nation does defense, both on the military side and on the civilian side. And they have chosen to partner with SafeSpace as an exclusive around schools and correctional facilities. The significance of this is beyond, I think, what I even could understand right now. When you look at the only technology in the world that can detect weapons through a car at distance, I mean, that is how you stop school shootings. So Carmel, just envision this, that with the combination of BMRT's cutting edge patented technology, they have 20 patents around this sensor technology, and with SafeSpace's AI, you'll be able to have detectors on every school campus in America, where when a car enters that campus, you'll know if it has a gun inside of the car. As part of the test that they just published, they were finding materials inside of Faraday cages. A Faraday cage with a gun inside of it, this detection device would find it. So you think of the significance behind, finding a gun in a backpack or finding a gun in a car. And then with the SafeSpace AI, we'd have license plate readers. We would know if it was a friendly or a foe, and we would know all the police officers who should have guns on a school campus and quickly identify ones that shouldn't, then notify the human in the loop. That would then trigger the back end, as we just mentioned, with 911 Inform, where you can lock the whole school down, call 911 instantly. So the combination of BMRT weapon detection from 500 feet away, it can detect the gunpowder inside of an AR-15. So that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And then to have our AI sift through and then to be able to lock the school down, it truly is a comprehensive solution. In addition to that, it can detect drugs. So we're able, not only in correctional facilities, but schools or anywhere, to detect any element. And specifically, we can have the model tuned to drugs, and you would know through anything. So through somebody's body, through clothing, you cannot hide the drugs. So you think of what that does for correctional facilities, you think of what that does for schools. It's game changing. I mean, I don't even know what other words to use. I think game changing is an overused statement, but this truly is a game changer. And this was validated by the US government at the highest level.
Investors ultimately care about revenue and the path to profitability. Now, without obviously disclosing specifics that you're not ready to share, give us a sense of the business model. Are they SaaS subscriptions, per device fees, hybrid models? More importantly, what do the unit economics look like once a facility is deployed? And how does that translate into your path to profitability as you scale?
Yeah, well, I would start with just encouraging everybody to book a ticket and come see us at Deal Flow Discovery Conference. It's out at Atlantic City. I'll be there, you'll be there, and it's going to be a fun time. So if any of this piques your interest and you're a serious investor, nothing's better than just coming to hear more, where we're physically going to be here in a few weeks at the Deal Flow Discovery Conference. So as a publicly traded company, all of this is out there. It's in the news. You can go to our stock ticker, SSGC, and read about this. But our vision is we're going to solve this problem. And what's the value of solving, school shootings? What's the value of stopping violence on transportation and where it's just not even possible for these crimes to happen? What's the value for correctional facilities to be able to know that everybody is safe within it? It's hard to quantify. I know we've had analysts say that it's in the billions is what they think each vertical should be worth. We have very large goals. We think uplisting to the New York Stock Exchange is something that should happen rapidly upon investors understanding what our partnerships and how the economics work. As a SaaS company, we make it easy for people to buy from us with a monthly subscription. It's just per camera. There's a fee. Each vertical has a little bit of a different use case, but the pricing is similar. So it ranges between $30 per camera on up to over $100 per camera, depending on how many cameras are being activated and the number of use cases that they need to have with, paying money to hit like the terrorist watch list, the FBI watch list. There's hard costs behind each one of these. However, we do have our price where it can be as low as any other competitor in the market for that specific use case. So, for example, in senior living, there's a competitor that has a wearable technology for elopements. And we beat them in price and performance with having facial recognition be the solution to stopping people with dementia from a senior living facility and potentially harming themselves. For the price point that we offer, you're talking saving the facility money, not only with a better solution, but then from not getting the government fines where every time there's an elopement, they're getting fined by the government because somebody left their facility that they were responsible for. School shootings, I think every one of the senators that I've personally met with, and I've met with over half a dozen in the last month, every one of them have responded once seeing our demonstration with, how much do you need? And we're asking for significant amounts of money to do statewide rollouts with them. And they're in Congress starting the 13th of January with our proposal talking about what they should do for, we're starting with Alabama and Tennessee. And we're starting with a pilot is what we're asking for. But then upon a successful pilot, the whole state would roll out with our technology with, again, these partnerships, BMRT, SafeSpace, 911 Inform. The politicians are saying, we've never seen this, and this actually is a comprehensive solution.
Now, the rebrand from healthcare integrated technologies to SafeSpace Global wasn't just cosmetic. It actually signaled a major strategic pivot. And you've built a core business in senior care with clients like Signature Healthcare, Wayman Place, but now you're expanding into education, as we've touched on, transportation, correctional facilities. How will you maintain execution excellence across such diverse verticals without losing focus?
Great question. Really comes down to systems. My book, Capacity, is actually on this topic. And as the CEO of a global conglomerate, I used to have 20 companies directly reporting to me. And the way that I was able to do that was management through systems and processes and building amazing teams in each one of those companies. So if you imagine each vertical having its own team, we've already begun doing this. We have a vice president of healthcare currently. We already have a team that's focused within transportation, a team that's focused within schools and correctional facilities. And there will be some crossover. I do think that there could be synergy across the teams. The technology team is doing something similar, where our team in India, where we have a captive office that we've created, and we have tech team members all across America as well. They have different verticals that they focus on, but then there is platform-wide focus that they do. So I think the way that you manage it is through systems, processes. We have amazing data professionals that are giving us comprehensive reports to where every week we know where our projects are and where the pipeline is and where the problems are. And so for our focus to go to solving the biggest problems, that's how we can continue to scale. I think we could have 10 verticals, 20 verticals into the future. And the current team we have with the current systems we have are built in a way to build that capacity to where the business has exponential growth potential. And our leadership is used to it. Scott Boroff is one of the most capable CEOs that knows how to handle significant amounts of work at one time. And I do too, as the president. We're confident in what we're already doing, but we think that it's going to be even more in the future, and we're ready for it.
Wonderful. I think you mentioned, I read somewhere that, you've called 911 Inform Partnership a unified vision for safer schools. but now you're also deploying it, as we mentioned, into those other verticals. And it's pretty aggressive horizontal expansion, right? What gives you firstly the confidence that you guys will execute? I think you touched on this by mentioning your teams, your leadership, the confidence to expand and execute across all these markets at the same time. But more importantly, how are you thinking about partnership economics versus building everything in-house?
Great question. So again, in the book Capacity, Building Your Business Bigger Than You, there's 5 pillars, and really we're applying all 5 pillars as our strategy. So the first pillar is executive strategy. So making sure we have executive alignment, making sure we have all the right people on the bus, making sure that we have an amazing marketing director, making sure that we have an amazing financial team, making sure that we have the right technology team, business development team, on and on and on. So that's what I've been focused on for the past year is after raising $10 million and having, several years of runway of cash reserves, then we started deploying that 10 million into building the team. So that's all part of the executive strategy. Second is business development strategy. And so looking at each vertical and having different ways of generating prospects, generating demonstrations, going through the presentation all the way through to the close and working referrals and all of that is per vertical already built. We have a learning management system that is called MindTickle. So we can hire people all across the world and onboard them virtually. Which we have been doing successfully. We've had team members in over half a dozen different countries and successfully train them on each vertical, not only product knowledge, but also industry knowledge. And we can hold them accountable through these systems that are already built. We have a CRM called HubSpot. So all of our data can be managed in one central location. As the leader, I can go in and see any client, any salesperson and who they're talking to and what the pipeline looks like and the opportunity looks like, and then hop in and help them out if needed. So then you have marketing systems, and with marketing, the brand matters. And so excited to be working with you, Carmel, on managing that brand. And I know you bring a tremendous amount of experience with helping us manage our team, vendors, and the brand. And so we plan on really hitting the turbojets on marketing this year now that we have all of our systems in place. And so we won't be well-kept secret for much longer now that we have the firepower of you and the marketing team built. Then you have legal strategy. So for us, building out contracts with our partners and putting these joint ventures together, these exclusive partnerships together, it's much easier to build a legal strategy, which then goes into the next step, which is financial strategy. And I think legal strategy and financial strategy work together in unison. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and to build what 911 Inform has built, that would take millions of dollars and years of focused time where they've already done it. They have the patents for it. So you have to fight these headwinds of people that have already gone before you and solved the back end problems of locking doors and notifying 911, even training the police department on how to use the technology. That is a heavy lift that 911 Inform has already done. And then BMRT, you're talking 20 plus years of them developing this resonant technology that I think even if we spent 20 years, we wouldn't know how to do what that technology can do. So I think partnerships through strategies of whether it's a joint venture, or whether it's an exclusive, whether it's a channel partner, those are all parts of the legal strategy and financial strategy on how to increase capacity where you don't have to do everything yourself. So yeah, that might have been more than what you were looking for, but I think you have to have all 5 of those pillars to truly have exponential growth, to have exponential capacity. Your executive strategy, your business development, your marketing, your legal, and your finance all works together and creates an unstoppable force.
100% a comprehensive, well-oiled machine ready to scale. We're going to close off with a final question. Obviously, there's exciting plans to uplist National Exchange, NASDAQ or NYSE. What needs to happen operationally and financially between now and uplisting, and what should investors be paying attention to?
Thanks, Carmel. Great question. What needs to happen operationally for us to be able to uplist. I think we've been working on that for the past year. So starting with raising $10 million, we have no debt and $5 million cash on our books. So that was step one, was getting financially set up to have the uplist. There is a variety of different boxes that you need to check in order to go from the OTC up to the New York Stock Exchange. We have checked every single one of those boxes as a fully audited pink sheet company, to where now the last checkbox is to get the stock price up to $2. And once it goes beyond $2, they pull you up into the big board. And we've already raised the money. We have the cash on the books. We have the pipeline. We have the customers. We have everything that you would need for it. So really, it's people buying the stock. As most sophisticated investors know, when you're on the pink sheets, it's really people buying and people selling, and that's what drives the stock up or down. So for people to know where we're at, for people to understand what we're doing, for people to understand the economics behind some of these significant verticals that we're in, and these partnerships that we already have, hopefully the market understands, like, oh wow, this is well beyond the current price. What a great deal, then have that price drive up to over $2 per share. And then once that happens, you get institutional investors that are hopping in, and there's a different level of investor that can happen at the New York Stock Exchange. The timing really matters for investors. As my good friend Warren Buffett said, buy low, sell high. And so I think that when you look at where we're at now, I personally bought more. That's public information. So I recently purchased stock once I got out of the blackout window. So you can then just kind of read into that and say, well, that's how I feel about it. And I think the risk versus the reward is compelling. As a OTC company, there's risk. But then you need to look at our website, look at our bios. I think you bet on the jockey, not the horse. And if you look at our team and you think, have these guys done anything worth investing in before? I feel the answer is yes. And I'm personally betting on the team that we have, betting on myself, to be blunt. And we're not going to give up. We're going to see this through. A team that doesn't know how to quit. Problem solving. I'm here in Las Vegas right now as we are recording this at the CES show. I'm going to be with you next week, Atlantic City, for the Deal Flow Investor Conference. Scott Boroff is exactly the same way as me. He's on planes every day, meeting with investors, meeting with partners, and I'm focused on building the day-to-day operations. Scott's focused on building the publicly traded side of the business, and together, I think that that's a dynamic duo that hopefully investors feel confident in, and I think the sky's the limit.
And I couldn't agree more. And I think it's a compelling growth story that we can't wait to share with the world. So you guys stay tuned for more as we uncover, all the developments and milestones that SafeSpace Global Corporation will reach this 2026. You want to say you saw it here first, so stay tuned for more. And Dustin, thank you so much for joining me. Excited to see you in person soon.
Thanks, everybody. See you at the Deal Flow Conference in Atlantic City.
Brought to you, as always, by the Harvest Podcast, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.